Good morning to all. Welcome to the class again. Today we will talk about the most ancient and the most traditional form of poetry, that is sonnet. Now what is a sonnet? A sonnet is a 14-line poem basically that follows a set pattern of rhyme scheme and structure. This form of poetry originated in Italy and later on it was introduced in English by the poets Wyatt and Surrey. Well, if you look at the history of its usage, sonnets followed two structures traditionally. In the first structure, that is the Italian structure, or we can also call it the Petrarchan sonnet. It was so called because Petrarch was the most famous sonneteer who popularized the form of sonnet in Italy. In this Italian or the Petrarchan sonnet, the 14 lines are divided into two parts, the octave and the sestet, as you can also see on the screen. The first 8 lines that develop the argument of the poem are called octave, and this octave is further followed by the next 6 lines, which is called the sestet. A sestet resolve and conclude the argument described in the octave. The standard pattern which was used in almost all the sonnets was ABBA, ABBA for the octave and CDE, CDE for the sestet, as you can see on the screen. This is a rhyme scheme pattern which we will practice while studying the sonnets in our course. Well, now let us look into the details of Shakespearean sonnet. In English form, the English form of sonnet is also called the Shakespearean sonnet. It is often named after Shakespeare because Shakespeare was the poet who wrote a sequence of 154 sonnets in a new rhyme scheme pattern which was developed by Wyatt and Surrey. This English or the Shakespearean sonnet had 3 quatrains, that is 3 stanzas of 4 lines each and a couplet in the end. In the first 3 quatrains, that is the first 12 lines of the poem, the poet raises and develops the question or the idea or the theme of the poem. And in the last 2 lines in the couplet, the poet summarizes and concludes the theme of the poem. Well, we have seen both the structures and both the rhyme scheme patterns of the sonnet. Fortunately, in our BA first year syllabus, we are given both the structures of the sonnet, where we have went to the sessions of Sweet Silent Thoughts by Shakespeare, and we have Like as the Waves by Shakespeare again. We have 2 Shakespearean sonnets in our syllabus, and we are also given an Italian sonnet, When the Assault was Intended by Milton. So, we have talked about the most traditional patterns of sonnet which we are going to study in our next classes. When we will be doing the poems in the next classes, I hope the pattern and the structure will help you understand the symmetry of the poem. Thank you.